The Gospel Journal Malawi. Today is Friday, 7th of November, 2025, and the 10 days of the book of Esther. And today we are on chapter number 6. And I've titled chapter 6, A Reward for Mordecai. So I'm reading Esther chapter 6, verse number 10, and it reads, "Go at once." The king commanded Haman, "Get the rope and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended." So in chapter number 6, we see Mordecai is rewarded for loyalty and for his service. As the plan was unfolding, in chapter number 5, we saw Queen Esther coming up with a banquet, inviting the king and Haman. But then in chapter number 6, what we find out is that one night the king is sleeping. And as the king is sleeping, he is troubled and he is failing to fall asleep. In other words, he had a sleepless night. And it's amazing how God works to disturb people with power, with issues that need and require attention. In the book of Daniel, for instance, the king would have sleepless nights, and whenever the Daniel and his friends were in difficult situation. And in the book of Esther, chapter 6, we see also the same thing happening. So the king is failing to sleep, and he invites the handymen who were around him to bring the records. So as the king was going through the records, okay, or the gazette in our context, something strikes him. He reads what was recorded, that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, those two guys at the gate, the gatemen, who were planning to kill the king. But because Mordecai was there, he had revealed the plan to the king, to Esther and the king. So the two, Bigthana and Teresh, were arrested. The king was saved. That is another thing that we see in this story, that the positioning, God putting people in specific places for a reason. At the gate, the gatemen conspired to kill the king, but that's the place where God had placed Mordecai. Mordecai knew what was happening, relayed the information to save the king. So, as the king was saved, but nothing was done to say to reward Mordecai. So as the king was reading in chapter number 6, going through the gazette and read the records how Mordecai saved him from the assassination plan mounted by Bigthana and Teresh, he calls the assistants and says, "What reward was given to this man who protected my life, saved my life?" And they answered him, "No recognition, no reward was given. Nothing has been done for him." And then immediately, this is the time now that the king, as he was thinking about it, now it was getting into early morning, and somebody opened the door, and the king says, "Who is outside?" And then it was found to be Haman. When Haman entered to the inner chamber of the king quickly asked Haman, "Haman, what should be done to a man who saved the king, a man who showed loyalty to the king, a man who is a good person, a man who is like no other. Now, at that point, Haman thinks that the king is talking about him. Then he quickly starts to pile good things that should be done to him. He says, what you need to know is to proclaim across your kingdom that that man should be given a royal robe, a purple royal robe. Purple was a color for loyalty. So a royal purple robe, and take him on your horse, your majesty, and give him someone who should be proclaiming as he moves on the horse to the people about how great this person is. And the king says, do that. I give you the command. Do that to Mordecai, the Jew. Do not take away even any of the things you have mentioned. So it pained Haman that he was doing this to Mordecai, the Jew he hated, who would not bow down for him. Then it was Mordecai who was given the horse to ride on, and a purple royal robe, and a fanfare, and it was Haman who was announcing as an MC to say, this is the man that the king honors and the king has respect for. He saved the life of the king. And that's what happens to Mordecai. I want to draw some two quick lessons. Here we see how loyalty pays back to people. Mordecai was loyal. And even if he had played a very significant role to save the king's life, but he did not bother to push for immediate recognition. He was loyal. Those people who are loyal, be it in a political party, be it in a church, be it in any given context, there are people who are rewarded. So you see, in a political party that has a turmoil, some people are fighting in the party, some are going out of the party, but there are those who keep loyal behind the leader. It so happens that that party finds an opportunity to go into power. The leader is likely to reward those who stood with him during difficult turmoil. That's loyalty. Number two, we also see how Mordecai was a silent hero. A silent hero in the sense that he was not in the page cover or front row or front page of coverage, but he was behind the curtains. But he had a remote control of some kind, controlling some issues as they were happening. You see what? We all need a Mordecai around us, near us. A Mordecai who can send a message that we need to pray. He can send a message so that we can be aware of evil. He can send a message to help us pray. He can send a message to help everyone know about evil around us. A Mordecai who can help push for an agenda that can benefit people. Good morning.